Morning, everybody. Thank you so much for signing up and attending this webinar. Today our topic is Makers in the Making, and we will be discussing the Maker Education Initiative. Just to let you all know, this webinar will be recorded and archived on the OC STEM website. And you can feel free to submit questions at any time. Just type it in the chat box and we'll be sure to make some time during the presentation to answer those questions. Today I will be presenting along with my Vista partner, Andrea Del Mar. And today we're going to cover the objective of the Maker Education Initiative. We're going to discuss the OC STEM initiative and why they are both important. We'll also discuss how you can implement making into your current program curriculum. We'll discuss how to get involved in the Maker movement, and we'll also be able to provide you with some resources.
Hi everybody, I'm Andrea, and we're going to start off talking about what is making. So the definition of making is quite literal. It's tinkering, building, inventing, hands-on projects, do-it-yourself projects, etc. So making is just that. It's making projects. The objective of making, well, there's quite a few. The first one is educational, and I'll go into detail about those a little later. But the general objectives are problem solving, discovering, sharing, and the biggest thing is learning. And in this case, making hopefully promotes learning lifelong skills. What making is not is memorizing and regurgitating information as illustrated by our little cartoon character. So we're going to be discussing one of the organizations at the forefront of the Maker movement, and that's Maker Ed. Maker Ed is a nonprofit organization meant to engage kids in making. It's a national network, but it's based in local communities, and the focus is local organizations. And for those of you who are still unclear, that's why you see Rachel and I at Think Together. We're here through Maker Ed. The focus is also underserved populations. Maker Ed's mission is to create more opportunities for young people to develop confidence, creativity, and spark an interest in science, technology, engineering, math, the arts, and learning as a whole through making. So you can already begin to see that making is very much related to STEM. So Maker Ed's mission has STEM right in it. The purpose is also has many parts. Educational, as I said before, it fosters lifelong learning instead of just regurgitating information. It actively engages kids and makes learning more fun, hopefully. It caters to different learning styles, meaning because when put into practice, it doesn't involve kids sitting quietly in a classroom. It's quite the opposite in that it's meant to encourage kids to get up, move around, create, do hands-on activities. However, I want to stress that it's not meant to entirely substitute the classroom setting, but rather it's meant to reinforce it by having students apply what they learned in the classroom to see firsthand how it plays in everyday life. I just want to pause for a second and give everyone a chance, if they have any questions about Maker Ed, to type them in the chat box and we can address those. If not, we will move on. If you're still typing your question, go ahead and we'll stop to address it. But the next part of the presentation is talking about STEM, and STEM stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, and Math. So some examples of STEM-related careers would be maybe a computer programmer, a mechanical engineer, or anything really that has to do with any of the above mentioned activities. There has even more recently been a push for STEAM, and it's the S, T, E, and M stand for the same thing as STEM, and the A stands for the arts. And that's because the arts are also a staple of education, and people are certainly recognizing that. So OC STEM is one of 3 regional partnerships in California providing critical support for STEM learning and teaching in after-school, summer, and other out-of-school time programs. OC STEM is made up of a group of member organizations, and they include Boeing, the Sam Welly Foundation, the Tiger Woods Learning Center, Time Warner Cable, and many more. I put their website up there in case you wanted more information on them, and it's simply ocstem.org. OC STEM's objective is providing support for STEM learning and teaching, and it's all geared towards improving the quality of content and expanding opportunity. So importantly, how OC STEM relates to making. We like the phrase making requires STEM and STEM promotes making, because the process of making, from thinking about what to create to figuring out how to create it to actually producing it, all requires STEM-related skills. Making also encourages kids to go into STEM-related fields as they grow up and decide on a career, and that's important in the coming years, and I'll discuss why in a little bit. I wanted to take a second and talk about girls in STEM. This is something that's kind of been at the forefront of discussions about STEM. Females are severely underrepresented in STEM-related jobs, and minorities in general, but we'll be focusing on females in this slide. That's a problem for many reasons, but the one that I highlight in the slide is economic reasons. According to the U.S. Department of Commerce, women in STEM-related fields earn an average between around $41,000 to around $71,000 annually, versus women overall in the country who earn an average of $35,000 annually. So whether females are underrepresented in STEM because of stereotypes, lack of female role models in STEM positions, or a general lack of interest, it's still important to get them thinking that they are capable of STEM-related fields and wanting to go into those fields. So making introduces girls to STEM as something that they are fully capable of understanding and doing, and it hopefully plants the seed of potentially going into a STEM-related career. So of course we want to address why making and STEM are important. Educational, first of all, as I said, it caters to different learning styles. For kids who have trouble paying attention or sitting still in a classroom setting, kids who are unmotivated about learning or underperform because they think it's boring, it hopefully caters to them. It's not meant to replace the classroom, as I said before, but rather reinforce, so kids can see how what they're learning in the classroom is applicable. And it's fun, so hopefully it appeals to those kids who are unmotivated or have trouble paying attention. They still have a chance to see how what they're learning in the classroom plays out in real life. It inspires lifelong learning. Students realize that learning doesn't just have to happen from behind a desk. It motivates them, and hopefully they like learning. We want to address the Common Core, which is a set of detailed standards and benchmarks for each grade level, K through 8, and then high school subjects. And the Common Core related to making has some pros and cons. The benefit, of course, is reinforcing the Common Core standards so that the kids aren't just memorizing it for a year and taking a test at the end of the year and then forgetting about it. It's really applying it to life in general. But the con is that making during school time provides an obstacle to teachers. They may feel that they don't have enough time to cover the Common Core and conduct making activities. Because the Common Core is so specific in what the teachers need to accomplish, they may feel that they don't have time to do both, cover the Common Core curriculum and making. There's also economic reasons as to why making and STEM are important, and we'll cover those in the next few slides. So making and STEM address educational concerns at a state, national, and international level. We'll begin with the state level. So in California, students who took the National Assessment of Educational Progress exam in fourth grade math scored, these are public school students, they scored a 30% level at or above a proficient level versus 38% of public school students nationally. In fourth grade science, 17% of California public school students ranked at or above the proficient level versus 27% nationally. In eighth grade math, it was 23% statewide at or above the proficient level versus 33% nationally. And in eighth grade science, it's 18% statewide versus 27% nationally. And I included the source. It's at the OC STEM website in case you wanted to check out more information about that. But clearly, these are actually increases. The statewide percentages are increases from 2000, but clearly California is still behind in national rankings. At a national, so in terms of students taking the National Assessment of Educational Progress exam in the entire state, less than 1/3 of students scored at or above a proficient level in math and science. So clearly it's not just California, it's the entire country that's really lacking in students performing at a good level in math and science. Internationally, as you can imagine, the U.S. does not score very well compared to other countries. I have a quote from the White House website on their STEM document, and it says, "International comparisons of our students' performances in science and mathematics place the United States in the middle of the pack or lower." There's also a projected decrease in numbers of prepared workforce to take on STEM-related jobs in the U.S. It's projected that the number of STEM-related jobs will increase. However, the amount of students obtaining STEM-related degrees will decrease. Other countries, including China and Japan, are awarding almost twice as many degrees, STEM degrees. And needless to say, officials and companies alike are worried about the compromising position that this will put the U.S. in a not too distant future. And that includes loss of jobs to other countries, drop in the U.S.'s industry status, and therefore less money coming in. So the role of making and preventing this from happening is, of course, the relationship between making and STEM. Since making and STEM are so closely related, we can hope to resolve current trends and prevent future issues from arising by actively implementing making. And we hope that if we introduce young students to learning through making from a young age, we are promoting and encouraging the STEM skills necessary to improve performance at a state, national, and international level.
All right, so we're going to take another moment to address any questions you may have. Go ahead and type them in the chat box if you'd like any more information regarding the Maker Out initiative, the purpose, the mission, the goals, as well as OC STEM. Okay, if there's no questions, then we will go ahead and move forward. So we're going to talk about current Maker programs that are available. Since its launch in 2012, Maker Ed has created several opportunities for young people to develop competence, creativity, and spark an interest in learning as a whole. There are numerous branches nationwide, and the initiative has been recognized globally. I'll discuss the current Maker programs that are listed here on this slide, including Maker Guilds, Maker Spaces and Hacker Spaces, Maker Core, the Young Makers Club, and Maker Fairs. We'll discuss how they differ from one another and how they promote collaboration. If any of these programs stand out to you as we go through the slides, I have created a list of resources on how to get started as a member and where to begin if you are looking to create your own Maker Club. And at the end of this presentation, I can email you that list in PDF form to all of you who registered for this webinar. All right, we do have a few questions, so we'll take a few moments to answer those. The first question, do you work exclusively with Think Together? No, we do not. Andrea and I are AmeriCorps Vista members for the Maker Education Initiative, and we're here at the Think Together site in Santa Ana, where we're hoping to bring some of the goals of the Maker Education Initiative into our out-of-school sites here at Think Together. And it's not just here in Santa Ana, where it's all throughout Orange County.
Another question is making teacher-driven or student-driven. It's both, hopefully. It starts with educators bringing making to the students and actively engaging the students. Making can also happen at home, so it's not necessarily just a teacher and student relationship. It can be a parent and child relationship also. As Rachel will discuss, there are Maker Fairs and other ways to get involved in the Maker movement. I, in my slides, just specifically talked about in after-school programming, so to answer the question, it's a certain an equal percentage between teacher and student as it is between the community also.
And we have another question regarding partnerships with the Maker Education Initiative. There are several partnerships, the first and biggest being, excuse me, being Pixar. And if you are interested in finding out who Maker Ed is currently partnered with, you should have a look at their website at makered.org. All right, and we will continue on discussing current Maker programs. The first program we'll talk about are Maker Guilds. Maker Guilds have been established to provide pathways for children, educators, and parents to use making tools and materials. These pathways include providing activities for events, curriculum for weekly programs, as well as parent education and community workshops. Maker Guilds have formed an international community where they share information related to the Maker movement. This information includes new research, best practices, integration, fundraising, and strategies so that they're able to be successful in their endeavors. And they've also created an international database of Maker Guilds with an online map and a feature that allows families and organizations to show their interest in creating guilds. So there's a lot of resources for people out there. These guilds also provide great learning tools to their community through the support of their headquarters team and curriculum specialists. And they have created a team of specialists that consists of scientists, teachers, and parents. And as a member of a Maker Guild, you have access to these materials and curriculum, as well as instructional videos, wholesale discounts, and specialized equipment to use at your guilds. Local guilds are afforded nonprofit status, which allows them to offer financial support as well, and they can facilitate in the receipt of donations and grant money. So at their headquarters, they also solicit for larger grants, and they're able to subsidize quite a bit of the cost of the materials and tools that would be needed to open a maker guild. Maker guilds are known for their exciting hands-on events, and they encourage scientific inquiry and collaboration on all levels. As you can see on this slide, they offer 4 types of events targeting specific age groups, and each of these events allows participants to play with all sorts of materials: clay, wood, metal, robotics, film, music, just about anything you can think of. The next program that you may have heard about or may be hearing about are maker spaces and hacker spaces, which are essentially community centers with tools. They combine manufacturing and computer equipment to the community and education as well to enable members to design, prototype, and create works. As you may or may not know, when working alone, a lot of these resources are not available to us, so it's great to have a community center that has the tools that you need right there. Each makerspace is unique in how they are arranged to fit the purposes of the communities that they serve. So they can take the form of loosely organized individuals sharing space and tools, to nonprofit corporations, for-profit companies, and any other organizations affiliated with schools, libraries, universities. Another program available is called Maker Core, and Maker Core was implemented to address the need for personalized support and expertise so that we're able to bring more making into existing educational programs. The majority of Maker Core members are college students, young professionals, and teachers who are hoping to learn and expand their experiences. Members of Maker Core serve as near-peer mentors and role models in a variety of community settings, including science centers, children's museums, schools, libraries, and other youth-serving organizations. They engage children and families in creative projects that develop problem solving while simultaneously gaining the experience that they will need to excel as community leaders. Next, we will talk about the Young Makers Club, and this is a program that brings together a community of young people ages 8 to 18 with mentors and also a space to make things. So young makers form small clubs in which participants work together throughout a season, and they design and make a youth-chosen open-ended project, which hopefully gives them an opportunity to share and exhibit at a showcase event. Usually the Young Makers Club works as a 12 to 16 week program, and they'll offer weekly, sometimes bi-weekly work sessions that are supported by a mentor and organized by club managers. And these work sessions can be held at local garages, community spaces, or maker spaces, as we discussed before. They also hold monthly regional meetings at youth-based community organizations, and here they are able to meet up with other young maker clubs throughout their communities, and they share project ideas, they skill workshops, and a lot of times they will invite guest makers for presentations. The Young Makers Club definitely promotes collaborative work, which is aimed towards, like I said, exhibiting a showcase event, such as a youth expo or a maker fair. And the next slide, I'll tell you a little bit more about maker fairs. They also consist of professional development and training sessions led by Maker Education staff. And they hold these training sessions for the mentors, the club managers, regional coordinators, as well as parents or guardians. So now I'm going to tell you about Maker Faire, which has also been referred to as the greatest show and tell on earth. It is a family-friendly festival of invention, creativity, and resourcefulness, and it really celebrates the maker movement as a whole. I would consider a Maker Faire part science fair, part county fair, and part something entirely new. It's an all-ages gathering of tech enthusiasts, crafters, educators, hobbyists, engineers, authors, artists, and commercial exhibitors. All of these makers come to the fair to show what they have made and share what they have learned. Maker fairs are currently being held all across the world. They range from mini maker fairs that can be done on smaller scales at schools, libraries, and community events. And they range all the way to a yearly World Maker Fair. This year, the World Maker Faire will be held in New York on the 21st and 22nd of September. And all upcoming fairs and events can be found on the Maker Faire website, which is simply makerfaire.com. So did anybody have any questions regarding the Maker programs that are currently out there and available? All right, then we will go ahead and continue on. I'm going to give you guys some really great resources that I found regarding the Maker Ed initiative. If you're interested, I would definitely suggest you visit their website first, which is makered.org. On their website, you'll find articles and videos about making and education, places to look for project ideas and lesson plans, information on scholarships and grants, as well as the Maker Ed blog, so you can find out what we're currently working on and how it's going and what is our progress. And also, as I mentioned before, I'll be emailing all of you with a list of resources and additional websites. Along with that, I will attach a few project ideas that you might be interested in trying out with your classrooms or your kids. There are also several really great books out there. I put these 3 books, Invent to Learn, Design, Make, Play, and the Maker Movement Manifesto. All these books can be found on Amazon. They're about $20 each. But like I said, there are several other publications out there in regard to making. And another great resource is the Maker magazine, which is called Makezine. And you can access all of their publications via their website at makezine.com. On their website and also in their magazine, you'll be able to find some great project ideas and learn about state-of-the-art technology. You can also read some amazing makers that are really stirring up the movement in their innovations and attempts. And on the website, they also have a Maker Shed store, and you can purchase kits and supplies that might be useful in your maker projects. So that really covers the resources available. Like I said, there's so many out there. I just really encourage you to start at the Maker Ed website and go from there, see where it takes you. Is there any other questions?
And just to clarify about the question about creating partnerships with other organizations, Rachel and I really are interested in collaborating with other organizations in Orange County to promote making. So if any of you would like to get in touch with us, we will provide you with our contact information. And there it is. So any other questions?
All right. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for attending this webinar. We hope it included all the information that you were looking to find. And again, I will be emailing all of you who registered with that list of additional resources. Okay? So enjoy your day. Happy Thursday.